What's going on, Giant fans? It's AGP back from the Big Blue in the Bronx podcast and YouTube channel. If you guys haven't already, check out some of the videos, the trailer, and the latest podcast episodes. So, I was going to do the Nate Solder topic, and I still am, but I also want to address something first. Unfortunately, former Giants defensive tackle Louis Nix III has passed away. 2 months ago, he was shot at a robbery at a gas station. He survived that. But unfortunately, he was reported missing. I think it was late yesterday or early this morning. And unfortunately, they found him in his car, I believe, in a pond. And they pronounced him dead. So, condolences to his family, his friends, and anyone who was acquainted with him. I know he was from Notre Dame. So, obviously, that hits home a little bit. Being Notre Dame is my favorite, college team. College, all-around team. Football, baseball, basketball. And, just condolences to his family. He, unfortunately, a lot of people end up dying at an early age. He was not even 30 from what I could see. And, obviously it's a way of life, but unfortunately, you really don't want to lose somebody at the age of under 30. I mean, that's just really sad. Once again, condolences to his family, his friends, and anyone who was surrounded by him. So let's go to the Nate Solder topic. Nate Solder said about a day ago, 2 days ago, that he wants to come back and play in 2021. Was this anybody's surprise? No. The Giants were expecting him to retire. I really didn't expect that. I really thought that Nate Solder, would not want to end on an opt-out. I think that would be, a little bit weird of a situation for him, but at the same time, the opt-out was good for a good reason because of his, his child's situation. And unfortunately, we all know the situation. It's not really a good one. So, let me break it down a little bit, and I'm going to get into the reaction part, which, I'll explain because my situation and because, other people are making the content also as well. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But his 2018 season, the Giants signed him from the New England Patriots, $62 million over 4 years, gave up 7 sacks in the first half of the season, and he only gave up 1 in the latter half of the season, basically putting out significant expectations, or at least in the latter half of the season, going into next year, with the Giants expected to draft a quarterback, get Eli's replacement going. So, reports came out during that offseason that Nate Solder was going through an ankle injury and that he had to have some cleanup on his ankle before training camp or before mini camp or something like that, and, he was all ready to go. Obviously, Mike Remmers was rehabbing back surgery, so him and Solder were basically, in and out of training camp at starting spots. I know Chad Wheeler was at a spot. I think it was left tackle, and then Brian Mahalik was at right tackle during training camp. I remember seeing that a little bit because I was actually there. It's 2019, 2 games in. The offensive line actually played, I would say, decently. The first game, they didn't give up any sacks, but the second game, I think they gave up 2 to Eli. Obviously, the tough Bills defense we all know now was starting to form then. And, once again, they have, how many defensive line pieces that can rush the passer. You have Jerry Hughes is one of them, Ed Oliver through the interior. So, again, that's where they started their build-up, there at least, with Josh Allen being the quarterback. Now, having said that, 2 games in, they replaced Eli Manning with Daniel Jones. And sort of a complex situation there because Daniel Jones is coming in, and you're going to expect some rookie mistakes. His rookie mistakes happened to be fumbling and reading defenses. Specifically in that game, it was fumbling. He fumbled twice, and they did not recover the football. They lost it. I think Carl Nassib had a forced fumble. I think Shaq Barrett had a forced fumble. And Nate Solder was getting beat and destroyed on the left side of the offensive line. You could say, oh, it's partially Daniel Jones' fault. He's a rookie. But at the same time, the offense, kind of, I would say, it's up to them to adjust the play and make the rookie quarterback safe and trust them. Chemistry doesn't build off day one. It builds off, a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, maybe a couple of years even. So, obviously, that game was, bad. The offensive line gave up 6 sacks, but the Giants ended up winning that game. So, coming off that season, a lot of forced fumbles were coming from Solder's side, and Solder actually ended up giving 11 sacks and 57 pressures. With him and Remmers, it was, I believe, the most pressures that a tackle duo would give up that year, which is 2019. So At the end of the season, the Giants Twitter and the Giants fans were debating, do we need to take a tackle? Do we need to stay with Solder? Do we need to take, a tackle in the later rounds? Do we need to do this? And a lot of Giant fans, Vincent Rappisardi being one of them, if you guys know who he is, he was on YouTube. I don't know if he still is, but, I've had him on twice, but he had the opinion that Daniel Jones really made, I would say, Solder into a compromised spot because of, obviously the rookie coming in and, basically he was saying that was more of the ball handling than it was Solder's play. But I respectfully disagree with that because I thought Solder, as a veteran, you need to adjust your play, A, and B, you need to play better than 11 sacks, 57 pressures, especially when you're working on the contract that you are. So 2020 was supposed to be the final year of Nate Solder. Giants end up drafting Andrew Thomas 4th overall. That's not to be put on the right side. That's supposed to be put on the left side. And then again, you had the Giants fans debating. So Andrew Thomas was drafted. Comes around July, August time. Nate Solder says, listen, I'm opting out. We all know the situation with his family. And that's not necessarily an excuse, but it's a reason. And I'm not saying, it's excuse, it's this, that, and the other thing. It's a real reason. It's a real reason he opted out. And I hope his family's doing well to the best of the ability and, just hope the family's doing well, which kind of put the Giants in a tough spot. What do I mean by that? So Cameron Fleming was signed in March to be the swing tackle or at least compete with Matt Parrott or whoever they're going to draft, maybe in the later rounds of tackle. So with Solder opting out, they put Thomas on the left side and Fleming on the right side. That's where we saw Fleming's weaknesses come in. Getting beat, not blocking in the run game, doing this, that, and the other mistakes. He was not supposed to play right tackle because, Solder was supposed to be the left tackle or Thomas was supposed to be right tackle or vice versa. But Fleming was put in there nonetheless, and he showed his weaknesses, and I think the Giants know, even if they cut Solder this offseason, which we'll get to in a little bit, that Fleming is not the right guy for them just to plug in there till Matt Parrott is ready, if they feel Parrott is ready or not. So, obviously 2020 passes by, and we see some results, and, everyone's speculating whether Parrott's going to be ready next year or not. So, Nate Solder, going back to, announces that he is coming back or wants to come back for the 2021 season. Now, Giants content creators and fans were, going over the cap space and whatnot and basically saying, we need to cut Nate Solder. Cut. And I have to admit, I was on that train too. I admit that to the fullest extent. And with a couple of videos and opposing takes, though, I thought about it a little bit. And the thing that kind of, I would say not ticked me off, but kind of, made it less attractive to keep him as a swing tackle with a pay cut is the fact that he hasn't been conditioning or, really exercising. Which, again, I'm a baseball player in high school. Keep that in mind. It's different from football. But, how many times has my coach said, listen, you can't be, going in the offseason not doing anything baseball related. You have to stretch. You have to stretch when you come out of bed. Basically do that stuff. Your basic exercises. And you can't just sit in the offseason and play video games without at least throwing a ball of some kind, because if you go from the end of the season and then you pick up a ball on March 1st, you're going to be rusty as hell and, basically piss off your whole team because of the poor results and you not practicing over the offseason. So if you get that analogy, Nate Solder really hasn't been doing his thing. And this is not like, a rumor. He said this on a podcast. So that kind of really makes it less attractive to bring him back as a swing tackle. And he said that, he thought he not pissed his team off, but he really let them down with him opting out. And, that's a reason. That's a reason to opt out. I'm not going to say that, it's excuses and this, that, and the other thing, like I said earlier. His kid is in a compromised situation, and he has to do the best for his family. Fine. But, when it comes back to on the field, you have to put it out there. You have to put it out on the field. Trust me, we get it. He's in a different situation, but let's keep going to the topic. So here is my opinion on the whole situation. I am still probably 90 to 95% on the train of cutting him because he is on a huge contract, kind of screwed the Giants, and I made an article for Last Word on Sports about the Giants potentially cutting Solder this year, and basically Nate Solder kind of in a way, unfortunately, compromising his career because of the way he played in 2019 and then him opting out. So obviously with that said, I'm still on the cut train about 90 to 95%. Now, there were rumors, according to Ian Rappaport, about the Giants making him take a pay cut. And in my opinion, it really depends where or how much of a pay cut he is willing to take. Because if he's taking a pay cut where he only earns maybe like, I don't know, $6 million, $7 million, $8 million, maybe $9 million this year, just to sit on the bench or maybe play a little bit of right tackle, I would be fine with that. You know, if the Giants cut Kevin Zeitler, you're not going to really have that offensive line veteran. You know, if Solder's gone and Zeitler's gone, your, I think, oldest vet would probably be either a swing tackle that you do bring in or Will Hernandez. So you're going to need that, you know, locker room veteran basically to lift up the team and lead the team. And I'm not saying Blake Martinez or any of the other guys are not leaders, but I'm talking for the offensive line room because there are still ways to go with this offensive line. But going back to the Solder thing, I would not mind in that range if he gets a pay cut and he ends up earning like $7 million or $6 million. I don't know that it will be that much because his cap hit is like $16 million this year. Or scheduled to be. I don't think the Giants at all keep him on that contract. I think it would be very stupid and very detrimental, to be honest. But if it's up in the 10, 11, 12 range, I would just say, you know what, we got to cut him. And, you know, as I said, I'm very sympathetic towards this situation. It's not a good one. But at the same time, you have to do what's in the best interest of your team. And the fact that he hasn't been, you know, doing his exercises, you know, staying fit is really less attractive to him coming back to the Giants. You know, does Joe Judge really want to see someone who hasn't been doing the exercise and that stuff during his time? And once again, obviously I'm not shitting on his situation. His situation is probably one of the worst when it comes to parenting, dealing with your kid and he has a severe illness. But at the same time, do what's best for the team. So basically to end it off, I'm still on the 90 to 95% cut him train. Am I open to keeping him as a swing tackle? That way you could save money and not go out in free agency and, you know, get a swing tackle? Sure. I mean, I know he hasn't played right tackle since 2011. But, you know, if the Giants and Rob Sale and Joe Judge, you know, put him at that spot and he works well, fine. But as of right now, I'm still mostly on the train of cutting him and bringing in a Joe Haig or a Kendall Lamb or one of the swing tackles that I really like in free agency. But I've kind of changed my opinion in terms of necessarily drafting a tackle. Because if the Giants release Zeitler, I mean, regardless of that too, if the Giants release Solder, you're not going to have any veterans. And if they don't address, I would say, backup tackle in free agency and let Nate Solder go, it doesn't make any sense because you have no, you know, veteran tackle. You're going to be relying on a 4th-round pick or just start Matt Parrott right away. It depends what they feel on him, but that's, you know, pretty much it. So thank you guys for tuning into this video. I really don't do reactionary videos a lot, but I just wanted to get my opinion out there. Obviously, having a special guest on Tuesday's podcast, this is not really going to be a topic on there. I'll probably discuss something else. I'll probably get something else going. Yankees game tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded because my video editor usually takes a while. So, you know, go Yankees. I was watching some Notre Dame baseball today. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing and keeping updated. Follow Big Blue in the Bronx on Instagram and Twitter for updates. Thank you guys, and we will see you on Tuesday.